To put a padlock? Well, first of all, I don't believe so legally, but if the city put a padlock on the doors, they would have cut the padlock. If the city put a sign on the door, they would have cut down the sign. Obviously, these people were intent on breaking the law, and they broke the law.
However, I've got to tell you that at the same event, Mayor Daley did mention that they'll be reviewing the procedures by which they enforce court orders to see if any improvements can be made. Leading me to infer that improvements can be made. But Jim Joyce, the candid fire commissioner, was quick to add this.
Let's remember one thing here. There was reckless conduct on the part of management. I have been around a long time. I have never heard of spraying the crowd. I don't know if anyone else has heard that. That's tantamount to yelling fire in a crowded theater. That's reckless conduct. That's what is at issue here. And stay focused on that, please.
I'm about 90% in agreement with this.
I agree 90%. I think there's another 10%, though, that has to be looked at, and that is the club clout heavy? And if so, who went to bat for who, and who spoke up for the club? And did the club did this restaurant club acquire a kind of aura around it of, like, keep your hands off of it because the owners have friends?
We do know that Jesse Jackson wrote a letter to Madeline Haithcock, the local alderman, talking up the good citizenship, shall we say, of Mr. Kiles, and hoping we could get some more police protection because of all the calls for, fights going on in there.
Which in itself is inverted logic, because if there are fights going on there and there are incidents and there are trouble, you either clean that situation up or the place should be closed. You don't send extra police.
Also in court today, fellas, word that a Chicago building inspector in October found a crack in a support truss in the second floor ceiling. Now, if the ceiling gave way, that would endanger people downstairs in the restaurant because there's this implication of a pancaking nature. Maura Georges was talking about and confirming this after court today.
The fear that the city had was that a structural problem with the trusses could render the entire property dangerous and hazardous.
Which, of course, is more reason for the court order, which was allegedly ignored by the owners. But an attorney, Tom Royce, representing E2, claimed that its engineers found the structure safe as recently as January, and he also was arguing against the notion that the court order applied to the second floor. Now, listen to this logic.
But the second floor is the second floor of E2. E2 is a club entity unto itself. That's the dance floor. The second floor of E2 is the skyboxes which surround that.
In other words, the mezzanine of the second floor. Boy, is that torture logic?
Well, take it to court and see if you can make it stand. I don't think it'll work. By the way, where's the alderman when all this is going on?
Well, she was asked for comment today, and she issued a statement saying that it would be irresponsible for her to make any further comment until the court proceedings are completed.
She is my alderman, and we called her this morning, Eileen and I, to try to get her on the show. We had somebody here call. First, we were told they didn't know where she was. Then, when we finally found somebody who's quote-unquote responsible for scheduling, they got back to us and said it would be premature to issue a statement. I, however, would say that this would be the time for leadership, and the alderman should have stepped up to the plate.
And by not doing so, she leaves us all to infer that she has something to hide.
Yes, exactly.
And, of course, everyone is wondering who loves to watch how deals are made in Chicago. If somebody got paid off for this to be overlooked for a while the operators of some business were able to make more money. Now, there's no evidence yet of that, but it's how deals are made in Chicago, and we're all left to wonder as these proceedings continue if such arrangements might have been going on in this case.
I find it interesting, though, that, if there's a dirty restaurant, the city will go there and throw all these signs on the place and shut it down. But in this case, they wouldn't do that. I mean, there's some mouse droppings on the floor, and they'll shut a restaurant down. But with this, they just kept saying, we went to court, and they couldn't even put a sign up.
Well, as promised here last night, I looked into that today, and I found that City Hall argues that this kind of violation in housing court is different than the kind of violation you allude to with rat droppings and the ability to immediately put a sticker on the front door of an establishment where people eat and close them down right now. That sort of administrative action. Here I'm told it's a civil matter, and you certainly couldn't have put a padlock on the front door of this because it was the second floor that was always at issue. And you couldn't even do it on the second floor, it is argued at City Hall, because you've got to get a court to order such an action in a civil matter.
Somebody should come clean on this.
Boy, this is going to go on for a very long time, and I'm not sure when it's all over if anything will really be answered. But those are today's developments. The judge is giving the attorneys 10 days to answer this criminal contempt that the mayor is asking for to throw this guy in jail for 1 year at least. Now, the other big story is over in South Korea. A very tragic story in which a madman boards a subway containing 2 parcels, whips out a cigarette lighter, and gets something that is ignited that has killed almost 130 people. Josh Gerstein is over there for ABC News.
Shortly before 10 a.m., thick black smoke began billowing up from subway shafts, hinting at the horror underground. Below, as many as 400 commuters were caught in an inferno. Witnesses said a disturbed passenger on a subway car carrying 2 plastic containers filled with flammable liquid started playing with a cigarette lighter. An elderly person asked him to stop and pushed him, this man says. Suddenly, he dropped the lighter and a fire started. According to officials, the blaze began in one train as it was arriving at the station. 3 minutes later, another train arrived on the opposite track. The fire quickly engulfed that train as well. Soon after, witnesses said, all lights in the station went dark, making it nearly impossible to find the exits. Trapped passengers used mobile phones to call family members. My sister told me the train was on fire, and she couldn't see anything, this woman says. Toxic smoke and intense fire prevented rescuers from getting to the trains for more than 3 hours. When firefighters finally got to the charred and twisted wreckage, they found more than 70 bodies. The 56-year-old suspect, a former taxi driver, survived with minor burns. According to Korean media, he has a history of mental illness and had threatened to burn down a hospital where he was once treated.
So this apparently is not a terrorist attack, but the attack of a madman.
And he survives.
And he survived.
Why is that? I mean, this goes back to the same thing in the numerous drunk driving situations that I've seen. These guys can be, like, behind the wheel and be plastered and they walk away.
Mm-hmm.
Innocent bystanders. People in the other automobile killed. All these people die and this guy lives. What is the answer behind that?
Don't have an answer for that one.
Well, you know what answer I'd like, what question I'm going to ask, but I'd get in trouble for asking it.
Well, this is where you pose questions.
Well, I mean, this is another example where and maybe we should ask Cisco Cotto here about this. You know where I'm going, Cisco.
I'm afraid I do, but go ahead.
Now, I don't. I'm all ears.
I always ask this question. Well, all right, so where was God?
Oh, I see.
Well, no, why does this, how does this work?
She's unavailable for comment.
Ooh, heretic.
Oh, she's like my alderman. Cisco, you're training to become a reverend.
Well, if bad stuff didn't happen down here, then it would be heaven. Right? Isn't that the difference?
Oh, I'm not disputing that bad things shouldn't happen, but why wouldn't this mope just burn himself up?
So, Cisco, does that mean we're currently inhabiting hell?
It seems like it sometimes, doesn't it?
It does.
Yeah, I mean, you know, if this 56-year-old guy wants to, he's mentally ill, okay, I mean, and once again, this points to the same old thing, the same drum I always beat on this show about the importance of mental health, but yeah, if he wants to play with gasoline and burn himself up, okay, fine, but what do you know, all these innocent people die?
Mm-hmm.
That's not justice.
They say after airplanes that subways are the most vulnerable place to
No, the most vulnerable place to be is in this seat. 625 at WLS. WLS 3-day forecast tonight, partly cloudy, a low in the mid-20s tomorrow. Mostly sunny, a high in the upper 30s, and then Wednesday night fair, a low in the lower 20s. And on Thursday, partly cloudy, a high in the lower 40s. Thursday night, mostly cloudy, a low in the lower 30s. And then on Friday, we do have a slight chance of rain, but that's only in northwest Indiana, and a high around 40. WLS Time Saver Traffic, Grant Park.
And there's still trouble, just delays, I should say, on the inbound expressways. Some of the outbounds, including the Kennedy and the Edens, are clearing out. Inbound Edens 35 in from Lake Cook, inbound Kennedy 45 in from the airport, and the inbound Eisenhower at 35 in from Route 53. That outbound Ike still 38 out to Route 53. The outbound Rhines 26 and 95th with the Ford Freeway is heavy up to 130th, and the westbound Northwest Tollway heavy off the Kennedy up to Lee Street. This report is sponsored by Sears. Don't miss the Sears Extra sale. Find great sale prices throughout the store, plus get an extra 10% off when you use your Sears card. Sale ends February 21st. Sears, where else? I'm Grant Park with WLS Time Saver Traffic.
626 in Chicago's News Talk 890 WLS. Sean Hannity coming up after 7 o'clock. Time for me to talk to you about the Red Lobster. A new Lobster Fest is going on, and I love the Red Lobster. And about 2 weeks ago, Mary and I were at the Red Lobster in Schaumburg, and I'm telling you, the food they have is just out of this world. They've got a brand new, you have to try this, a brand new lobster pizza. It's thin, it's crispy, it tastes great. You put just a little bit of lemon juice on top, man, you cannot equal it. I mean, it is the best. Try the lobster chops. They've got these lobster tails split and grilled with savory butter sauce, served up with fresh green vegetables. Oh, man, the salmon, of course, is good. And then they've got artichoke lobster dip. I could go on. And I've only got 60 seconds to tell you about the Red Lobster. It's my favorite seafood place, and Mary's too. And we go there, and you should too. Everything from the appetizers, like that lobster pizza, all the way to the vanilla ice cream and the caramel sauce and the apple overboard that they serve. I mean, even the desserts are really a work of art. So whether you're just hungry or maybe you're got a craving for seafood, the place to go is the Red Lobster, particularly during Lobster Fest. Stop out at the Red Lobster in West Dundee at 701 Spring Hill Road at the Spring Hill Mall, or drop into the one in Schaumburg or any of the Red Lobster locations. I'm telling you, the Red Lobster is the way to go. You don't want to miss Lobster Fest. The food is just out of this world.
If I had some money, I'd tell you what I do. Downtown and I'll let her into. I'm crazy out of everything.
You'll go crazy at the Mercury display at the Chicago Auto Show, February 14th through the 23rd. In fact, you'll have a ball because you'll see the 2003 Mercury Mountaineer with its standard third-row seat that folds flat for loads of cargo space. It's the SUV rated a best pick by the Insurance Institute for Highway Safety, based on 40-mile-per-hour frontal offset crash test. Plus, you can have a ball with some of Chicago's biggest sports stars, like Roosevelt Colvin, Marcus Robinson, James Williams, and Marty Booker, who'll be giving away autographed footballs. Plus, Donyell Marshall and Tyson Chandler, who'll be giving away signed basketballs, all while supplies last, courtesy of your local Lincoln Mercury dealer. So have a ball at the Mercury display at the Chicago Auto Show, or go to mercuryvehicles.com.
You hear about Clark? No. Looking for a cash machine. He had an ATM embolism.
Bank One announces the power of maximum strength checking.
Stan, you're not your old self. Where's the zest?
I know, Arthur. I've got a bank ache. It's killing me.
Honey, did you send the rent check off?
Yeah, of course. No, wait a minute. I think I did.
Well, did you or didn't you?
Evelyn, don't press me. You know I have check bouncemia.
Honey, I think you need maximum strength checking.
Maximum strength checking is free checking with direct deposit and these active ingredients. Online digital check imaging, no monthly service fees or teller-assisted transaction fees, and the convenience of over 3,500 free Bank One ATMs.
I write checks and can't remember them. They say it could be check obliviosa.
Joan, one word, maximum strength checking.
For fast financial relief. Maximum strength checking from Bank One.
Nominal fee may apply to rapid cash ATMs. Bank One, member FDIC. 39-month lease. C3949, E5700 due at inception, including security deposit with credit approval, plus tax, title, license, and dock fee. It's an event unlike any other, and it's happening only at Mercedes-Benz of Orland Park. Now you can shop from 220 new Mercedes-Benz models in stock. Now you can get exclusive financing and leasing offers. Now you can buy or lease a new Mercedes-Benz C, E, ML, or S-Class at a price you might have thought impossible. Had your eye on a new C-Class? It can be yours for only $329 a month. A new E-Class more your style? You can be driving a new E-Class for only $499 a month. You'll find special values on every new model and everywhere you look at Mercedes-Benz of Orland Park. Value unlike any other, selection unlike any other, and a sales event unlike any other are all available right now at Mercedes-Benz of Orland Park, 8430 West 159th Street between Harlem and LaGrange Road. Call them at 708-460-0400. When you say Mercedes-Benz of Orland Park, anything's possible.
Okay, people, profits have been down 6 straight quarters, so I brought in a motivational speaker. I hope you can just...
All right. Hi, I'm here to motivate you losers.
This man is not a motivational speaker.
So, let's see. We should probably start with an icebreaker, huh?
He doesn't know any icebreakers.
Okay, here's one. This will be fun. Knock, knock.
He's an imposter. And here at SBC Smart Yellow Pages, we'd like to remind our customers not to fall for that kind of stuff.
And then when I say, then you say, who's there? A big unmotivated loser.
There's only one real SBC Smart Yellow Pages, the one you rely on for more information, more ads, and more up-to-date listings.
And you're supposed to say a big unmotivated loser who? Come on.
Is it any wonder more people trust the SBC Smart Yellow Pages? Look for us online at smartpages.com.
It's the moment you've been waiting for. Yes, that's right. The new phone books are here. But not just any phone book. It's the brand new Chicago SBC Smart Yellow Pages. Nobody covers Chicago better. Be part of the excitement at the 2003 Chicago Auto Show going on now through Sunday, February 23rd at McCormick Place. See all the new models and concept cars at the world's largest display of metal and motors going on now.
Mark Sapelsa is missing from Channel 5. Where's Mark?
Get the inside story with Don and Roma. Weekdays 5 to 9 a.m. on News Talk 890 WLS.
Oh, I love this song. Science! All right, let's not get carried away. 6:32 on Chicago's News Talk 890 WLS. I know this is too hip for you, right, Bill?
What is this?
Science, man. They did it with science. Who's this, Thomas Dolby? I think is his name.
Is he the inventor of the Dolby system?
Yes, you've got it. It's Chicago PM. Yeah, you're in the right place at the right time. Only Bill Cameron would talk like that on a radio station in America in the year 2003. And it's coming up at 6:32. Here's Cisco Cotto in for Jim Johnson with the headlines.
In New York, the UN Security Council hearing from non-council members about Iraq. Now, this is expected to be 2 days of anti-war talk, and leading it off, Iraq's ambassador. So,
and,
of course,
coming up, we'll have a feature on our new technology in bombs if we do go to war. Wait till you hear this.
No. Investigators searching the home of Lacey Peterson. She's the Modesto, California woman, been missing for months, was pregnant. Cops still saying her husband is not a suspect, though they were searching the house today.
Carol Mosley Braun declared for president today. She went down to her old alma mater, the University of Chicago Law School, to declare her intention to seek the Democratic presidential nomination.
I'm running for president of the United States. I am not running just to be another pretty face. I can't believe I said that.
Oh, I can. I'm running to be a stalking horse for the Democratic Party to destroy Al Sharpton, Tawana Brawley Sharpton's chances.
Well, she says that's not true, and here's what I stand for.
I hope to be a voice for people who have not had a chance to participate in presidential elections as we bring the message that it's time to take the men-only sign off the White House door.
She also was talking as the peace candidate she hopes to be. She was complaining about being searched recently at an airport. And this is her example of how we're giving up our civil liberties in the name of Bush's war policy.
I mean, I stood there. I felt as violated as someone being strip searched. Americans should not have to live like that. We cannot have this country respond out of fear.
Violated as though she were being strip searched.
First of all, she's absolutely correct. You know, a person of her stature and her position should not be subjected to the same rigors of ordinary life under the threat of terrorism that the rest of us. They should have like a separate area for people like her to go to get on the plane while the rest of us have to wait. And number two, I would ask her, well, if being strip searched and having these security measures displeases you so, what, ma'am, would be your answer to the threat of terrorism? I agree we shouldn't destroy civil liberties. No question about that. Okay, but you have to have balance in this society, and we have to have some degree of safety. What are you going to do? Throw it all out because what she's saying there is not an argument for civil liberties. It's an argument for her inconvenience. We're sorry. We're sorry, Senator. We're sorry we inconvenienced you. Hey, welcome to the world of the little people, lady. Get over it.
What I think is going on here is what you suggested earlier. The establishment Democrats are scared to death that Al Sharpton will win in South Carolina or disrupt it for whoever turns out to get the nomination. And so they need to divide his vote early in the game, and that's where she comes in.
Did you see the pictures of her speech in Iowa where 3 people showed up?
Was it 3? I heard it was 1.
I heard 3, and one of them was a friend from college.
Well, I was going to go, but I was sick.
A photographer, right?
Yeah.
I was going to show up, but I was sick.
The guy with the video camera, too.
I guess only 20 showed up in New Hampshire. And that was a club which is promoting getting a woman in the White House.
Shameful. Shameful.
To hear this story about this baseball player, the Baltimore Orioles pitcher, died of heat stroke. Now they say that it looks like ephedra may have had something to do with it, sort of a weight loss drug. They say that was in his system when he died.
Well, we keep hearing this, but it stays on the market.
Yeah, and I know people who have taken ephedra, and I know people who have said to me, oh, that's what you ought to do. You ought to take ephedra. No. I mean, I'm trying to lose weight, but I'm trying to do it the sensible way now, finally, by cutting out fats and eating right and trying to do some degree of moderate exercise. But there's no shortcuts to losing weight in these things. But you're right, it stays on the market. Why isn't it investigated?
If it does work, would you have to keep taking it for the rest of your life? If you stop taking it, would you all of a sudden gain the weight back? That would be my worry.
Well, you factor in my craziness about food. Yeah, I'd probably have to inject it on a daily basis.
This one's a little scary here. Computer hacker somehow able to get access to more than 5.5 million Visa and MasterCard numbers.
Oh, great.
Good.
They say no fraud, though. He didn't do anything with them.
Right.
Does that make you feel safer?
He only sold them to 35 of his buddies.
Traffic and weather next. WLS News Time, 6:37.
It's easy to say these are not easy times, but the fact of the matter is we all have problems of varying degrees. For example, Max Madson's Aurora Mitsubishi has what we think is a very big problem. Too many used cars, trucks, and SUVs. It becomes a question of money. Hold on to them and get higher prices later, or sell now for less. Right or wrong, Max Madsen has decided to price these vehicles well below their current market value. To move the market, so to speak. Our problem, your opportunity. But if credit has been your problem, maybe we can help. Help us solve our problem, and we'll help you buy and drive now for hundreds, even thousands of dollars less. At Max Madson's Aurora Mitsubishi, 3990 East Ogden Avenue, a half a mile west of Route 59. Shop online at maxmadson.com or call us at 630-898-6000, 630-898-6000, and we'll make things a whole lot easier.
Hello, I'm Dr. Craig Bittner, founder and medical director of Ameriscan. My own mother is a breast cancer survivor, and like tens of thousands of women every year, her breast cancer was missed by mammography. Unfortunately, mammography will miss breast cancer in 2 out of 3 women. That is why I take great pride in introducing Ameriscan's MRI breast screen, a revolutionary breakthrough in the early detection of breast cancer. Without harmful radiation or painful breast compression, Ameriscan's MRI breast screen is proven to find nearly 100% of all breast cancers, even those cancers that mammography will miss. If you had a problem in your breast, have large or dense breasts, breast implants, or if you're worried about mammography's inaccuracy, then I highly recommend Ameriscan's MRI breast screen.
Call Ameriscan toll-free today at 1-866-4MyScan for more information. You deserve better protection from breast cancer than a mammogram. Ameriscan, 866-4MyScan. That's 866-4MyScan.
Hi, Famous Dave here of Famous Dave's Legendary Pit Barbecue. I've got the best barbecue in the country, but don't take my word for it.
I love their all-American barbecue feast on a garbage can lid. Big doesn't even begin to describe it. The whole family loves it.
Each slab weighs something like 2.5 pounds. Think about it. That's a lot of ribs. I'm telling you, my hickory smoked real pit barbecue is going to make your tongue jump out and slap you silly.
The chopped pork is pulled by hand, not machines. That's the real deal.
There's a whole buttload of homemade flavors to choose from.
Eye-poppin' salads says it all. Famous Dave's chicken with all the fixins. Hey, you should use that in an ad.
So eat in or grab a load and hit the road.
Trust me, that takeout counter is my kitchen away from home.
Try my Famous Dave's legendary pit smoked barbecue. But just don't take my word for it. Take your neighbors.
Come in today for Dave's famous new barbecue pork loin.
Now WLS time saver traffic at 640 Grant Park.
Most of the outbound expressways are clearing up with the exception of the outbound Ike, about 35 out to Route 53, and the Rhine still 25 minutes out to 95th, the Ford Freeway, then heavy in spots most of the way to 130th. The inbound Edens is 32 in from Lake Cook, while the Kennedy inbound at 38. From O'Hare, heavy Cumberland to Kedzie and North Avenue to the Circle interchange. The southbound Tri-State's on the brakes, Dempster to Toohey, and the westbound east-west tollway heavy from the Tri-State to Route 83. This report sponsored by BMW Motorcycles. BMW Motorcycles celebrates their 80th birthday with financing on new bikes as low as 0.9% APR. They'll make the first 5 payments for a limited time. Restrictions apply. See your BMW dealer for details. I'm Grant Park with WLS Time Saver Traffic.
Last time we checked, there were very few people who actually looked forward to having their airbags deploy. We're pretty sure no one out there ever said they were happy to find out firsthand how crumple zones work. And as amazing as a whiplash protection seating system might be, there just aren't a lot of folks who think having it engage is fun. But as it turns out, there is one safety feature that you can actually enjoy using. Volvo All-Wheel Drive, an intelligent system that instantly and automatically adjusts to whatever road surface you encounter, which not only keeps you firmly and safely in control of your vehicle, it gives you the confidence to truly appreciate the ride. So visit your Volvo retailer today to test drive any of the all-wheel drive Volvos, the S60, the V70, or the XC70, and enjoy.
Finance a new 2003 Volvo all-wheel drive S60, V70, or XC70 for 0.9% APR with 36 monthly payments of $28.16 per thousand financed. No down payment required. Taxes, title, and tag fees extra. See your Chicagoland area Volvo retailer or call 1-877-24-VOLVO for details.
Tonight on ABC. If you haven't seen NYPD Blue lately, you haven't seen true blue. It's more personal.
What you say goes. I'm sick of it.
I'm leaving before I say something I can't take back.
It's more shocking.
Ahmed killed his own daughter.
For disobeying. They call it an honor killing.
That happens to be a crime in this country.
See why they call it the season legends are made of. NYPD Blue, tonight on ABC. Tonight at 9 on ABC 7 Chicago.
Wednesday on ABC 7 News at 10. Some say it's a sign of success, and it's becoming the most sought-after accessory for both men and women. Millions of dollars spent for whiter, brighter teeth.
I'm ABC 7's Sylvia Perez. With so many different types of teeth whiteners out there, how do you know what works best for you? We'll tell you what the experts have to say and why some are concerned.
If you're thinking about whitening your teeth, you won't want to miss Smiling Success, a Health Beat special segment Wednesday on ABC 7 News at 10.
The WLS 3-day forecast. Tonight partly cloudy, low in the mid-20s. Tomorrow some clouds, high near 40. And Thursday partly cloudy. Things continue to warm up though, high in the lower 40s. Again tonight, low in the mid-20s with some clouds. Right now 34 at O'Hare, 33 at Midway and DuPage. And the WLS temperature along the lakefront, 35 degrees. I'm Cisco Cotto, News Talk 890 WLS.
Lobster Fest is here. Try one of their new lobster creations like lobster asparagus patty pasta, tender lobster shrimp, fresh asparagus, and penny pasta, tossed in a garlic Alfredo sauce. Lobster Fest for a limited time at Red Lobster.
The latest developments on the tragedy at Chicago's Club E2.
Get the inside story with Deborah Rowe, weeknights 10 till midnight on News Talk 890 WLS.
644 Chicago's News Talk 890 WLS. Sean Hannity coming up to 7 o'clock. It's Chicago PM now. Nice to have you along, Jay Marvin, Bill Cameron, and Cisco Cotto in for Jim Johnson. Bill?
Do you think you're paying enough gasoline taxes?
Well, the price of gasoline's going up, but look at the problems that we're having now. You have got problems in Venezuela. You had that strike down there, which is now running out of, it's kind of fizzling out, and then you've got the problems in the Middle East. But we always pay too much for gas. Aren't we spoiled? I mean, don't we complain all the time about gas prices?
Right now, Congress is preparing to plan how much it's going to spend in the coming 5 years on new highway and mass transit projects, and there's a budding gasoline tax idea making the rounds in Washington. Our leading Chicago congressman on the transportation issues, Bill Lipinski, is for a nickel a gallon increase in the federal gasoline tax. Somebody who's up for re-election next year, though, who is against it is U.S. Senator Peter Fitzgerald of Illinois.
The average family in Illinois is now paying about
40% of its income in combined federal, state, and local taxes, and so I'm reluctant to support increased taxes of any sort.
Somebody else who's up for re-election next year is the president, who would have to put his signature on a gas tax increase. So this is not a sure thing, but this is something that every member of Congress wants, mass transit and highway improvements in their district, and they might be willing to take the heat to vote for another nickel per gallon on your gasoline tax.
But would the president be willing to take the heat if he put his signature on it?
That's my point. He might be willing to, but since he is up for re-election, and we don't know what the polls will say when this time comes for him to sign or veto, he may or may not sign it.
After all, didn't the State of the Union, didn't he talk about being firm on holding the line on spending?
There you go. And
that's not holding the line.
And cutting taxes?
That's not cutting taxes.
It is not. But by then, they'll be calling it a user fee, don't you know?
That's right. Yeah, if you don't drive, then you don't need to pay for it.
It's for people who use the highways and the mass transit. It's not a tax. It's
God, you guys, stop it. You're killing me.
Speaking of Mr. Bush, who seems hell-bent to go to war, which I know most of you agree with, but I'm still not convinced.
Do we have to hear this from you again?
I want to take a new tack tonight because I want to bring John McWethy on from the Pentagon to tell you about the wonderful new technology in bombs, which will accompany this war when it happens. Listen to this.
Military sources say any war with Iraq will begin with an intense, unrelenting bombardment. At the cutting edge, weapons guided by satellite drop from the B-2 stealth bomber, both new since the last war with Iraq 12 years ago. And beyond that, a few weapons drawn from the government's most secret research programs. One is called the E-bomb, described by some as a lightning bolt on a cruise missile. It's designed to shut down all electronic devices over a wide area while doing minimal damage to buildings and people. The warhead of the E-bomb generates a massive pulse of microwave energy, hundreds of times more powerful than a lightning bolt.
The energy would travel down the antenna and the wire cabling that command and control facilities use, would burn out the electronics in them, and they would be literally useless. They'd be literally blind and deaf.
The E-bomb, in theory, could black out an air defense complex, silence a phone system, neutralize an underground bunker.
Meaning that you could black out any command post hidden in a large palace complex without having to completely pulverize the entire palace with thousands of bombs.
The same idea was explored in the movie Ocean's 11, when a microwave generator shut down the power grid in Las Vegas. On the battlefield, E-bombs may have drawbacks because they affect whole neighborhoods. Electronics in hospitals, for example, would be crippled along with everything else. Other weapons that would be used in the opening days of war, so-called thermobaric bombs, warheads that penetrate a bunker, fill the air with explosive gas, then, when ignited, creates a deadly firestorm and concussion. And the Joint Direct Attack Munition, or JDAM, guided by satellite, it can be dropped in bad weather without the pilot having to see the target.
It really has taken high-altitude bombing to a new level of capabilities.
Compared to the Persian Gulf War, today's war planners believe they will be destroying far more targets in much less time with just a fraction of the bombs and airplanes they used then.
Ain't war great?
Well, what companies are manufacturing these marvels? And
we talked about that possible bomb.
By the way, does anybody in the cabinet, in the Bush cabinet, does anybody have any these companies, any of these defense manufacturers in their portfolios?
Well, if they do, they're being held in a trust, a blind trust.
Yeah, I'll bet you.
Sure hope Saddam doesn't make us use that stuff.
I hope so, too. How barbaric. How awful.
Mm-hmm.
But once again, I say this every time Bill and I cross swords on this. If it isn't the answer, what is the answer to get this guy to stop, other than to kill him personally, which, one, we can't do because of the Church Amendment. So maybe we ought to consider repealing that, even though when we didn't have it, it got us into a lot of trouble and has got us into a lot of trouble in the past in this country. And two, other than fomenting some kind of internal overthrow, how are you going to deal with this guy?
Well, containment really is working. Why not just continue the containment policy?
Because containment doesn't work with somebody who doesn't play by conventional means. You and I have been down this road before.
We have, but
You're forcing me to be a hawk.
I contend that containment is working, so what's the fuss?
You have no proof of that.
Is it really working, or is he just sort of stockpiling this arsenal, and once he gets it large enough, then he's going to use it?
Well, by all means, try to, get the stockpile down, or get your inspectors in there to find the stockpile. But, we're going to kill 100,000 people or more. That's not good public policy.
Well, yeah, but what are you going to do? How are you going to get all this to stop? Once to say this guy's not going to sell this stuff, and once again, what the problem is? Most of us, for most of our lives, are functioning on the 890 frequency. Okay, guys like Saddam Hussein and Kim Sung-il, or whatever the hell is Daffy Duck's name. I mean, they're off on some other frequency.
Well, they are indeed, but
their perception of life is not normal.
I just need to trust and verify the notion that there's this connection between Saddam and Osama.
You cannot have trust with somebody who does not deal on a rational level. You cannot verify with somebody who will not show you your cards. How are you going to verify? How are you going to have trust?
Well, actually, the trust part of my argument has to do with Mr. Bush, Mr. Cheney, and Mr. Rumsfeld. I trust them, but I just want to verify what they say.
You love using Reagan on this, don't you?
I just adore it. The darling of the right said it himself. Trust but verify.
Sticking the dagger in.
Yeah, but how can you can't verify if you're dealing with somebody?
Sure you can. That's what the CIA is for.
Oh, yeah, right.
And speaking of the CIA, they say the only time he'll use these weapons of mass destruction is if we attack him.
Well, he's not going to use them on himself, but what he's going to do is he's going to deal them away, don't you think?
I don't know, and I'm not willing to slaughter 100,000 people to find out.
Logic dictates if he's the world's largest money launderer, which he is, and everybody knows he is, people who launder money are not nice people, and they have a tendency to commit crimes and deal in illegal products, such as drugs, weapons.
But that's why the policy of containment was used against the Soviet Union, and guess what? It worked.
But the Soviet Union did not operate in the same way as Osama bin Laden, or did not operate in the same way as the Shining Path. Yes, they had surrogates who they funded. Sure, when they, they found like Eastern Bloc weapons in the hands of rebels in Latin America. But that's different from an Uzi from a vial of anthrax.
Trust but verify.
I don't want to go to war, but there are no answers, and you don't have any answers either.
Containment.
No, it doesn't work. Show me where it works.
Soviet Union.
No, we're not living. You know what your problem is?
Iraq.
You're too old.
Iran.
We're not living in 1955.
Syria.
Only it works in Syria. Only it works in North Korea. Daffy Duck thinks that he's going to go across the parallel now.
Well, Daffy Duck has not gone across the parallel yet.
As soon as they get the sighting,
contained.
As soon as they get a sighting on a Burger King, they will. 6:53 at WLS. WLS 3-day forecast. That's what he wants. He wants food.
Get your gas mask on tonight. You're going over the top.
No, that. Give me an alternative that works, and you don't have one, and you haven't had one since we started this.
Trust but verify.
That doesn't work.
It just hurts. It hurts. Stop.
It doesn't work is what the problem is. You think Saddam Hussein would tell you the truth?
No.
Then you're like a cat chasing its tail.
And I think Bush and Cheney and Rumsfeld really believe what they're saying.
Are they lying to us?
No. They really believe this stuff.
Then you're chasing your tail. Is Colin Powell lying to us?
Trust but verify.
Yeah, so you're chasing your tail. Tonight, partly cloudy, a low in the mid-20s. Wednesday, mostly sunny, a high in the upper 30s. And on Wednesday night, fair, a low in the lower 20s. Thursday, partly cloudy, a high in the lower 40s. And on Friday, cloudy, a chance of rain, but only in northwest Indiana. Tonight, partly cloudy, a low in the mid-20s. Grant, this guy thinks he's dealing with Teddy Bass. WLS time saver traffic. Don Logan.
You don't say no to Don Logan.
That's right.
Inbound Kennedy is 36 in from O'Hare, and the outbound Ryan still hitting the brakes. Garfield 30 out the 95th, being a bit stubborn tonight. Downtown, watch for an accident at Dearborn and Congress. This report sponsored by Sears. Don't miss the Sears Extra sale. Find great sale prices throughout the store, plus get an extra 10% off when you use your Sears card. Sale ends February 21st. Sears, where else? I'm Grant Park with WLS Time Saver Traffic.
654, Chicago's News.